Welcome and good evening. My name is Linda Duke. I'm director here at the Marianna Kistler Beach Museum of Art, and I'm so glad you've joined us to celebrate the museum's 25th anniversary. It was literally yesterday, October 13th. So we are in party mode, and we have a great program planned for you this evening. It's now my pleasure to introduce our MC host for tonight's program, teaching artist Nate McClendon. Take it away, Nate.
Thank you, Linda. Good evening, everyone. As Linda mentioned, my name is Nate McClendon. I am the Art Bridges teaching artist here at Beach Museum. I'm also the new guy. And as a result of being the new guy, I get roped into doing all the dirty jobs, right? So that's why I get to be the guest tonight. Actually, I started this past August, and I have loved every minute of being here at Beach, and I'm very happy to be your host tonight for this momentous occasion. The best part is that I get paid time and a half, so that's a good thing. I am coming fresh out of the classroom. For the last 12 years, I've been teaching in the Manhattan school districts as an orchestra and a jazz band director. That's in the last 12 years. So being here at Beach, I am seeing so many new ways in which we can provide education and promote deep thinking. Talking to Linda, we've talked about how a museum is a place where you go to like exercise your mind, like a gymnasium would be. And so I was talking to some K-State students about this idea of the museum being like a gym for your brain. And they came up with the term brain-nasium. So I've filed some paperwork with the official office down in the president's office, and we're looking at changing the name to the Marianna Kistler Beach Brain-nasium. So be looking for that announcement coming up in the future. So tonight we are here to celebrate the 25th anniversary of this beautiful museum. You're gonna see some videos, you'll see some slideshows, a couple live presentations, highlighting our history and some of our organizational goals and some of the current things that are going on here at the museum. We truly hope that you enjoy what you get to see tonight. And speaking of new programs, one day here at Beach, I decided to take my saxophone out. I wanted to see what the acoustics sounded like in the museum. So in the case of bringing musicians into the museum, I would know where we could put them, what kind of program we could do. So I started playing around in the museum, just checking the acoustics. When I was done, all of the staff made fun of me because again, I am the new guy. So they all critiqued my playing and made fun of me. But then they said, you know what, Nate, you should think about doing something musical here in the museum. And I thought, okay, that's a pretty good idea. One of the things that I enjoyed doing was walking around and looking at all the different artwork and then playing something different that was inspired by the art that I was looking at. And then I thought to myself, you know what, as much fun as I had, how cool would it be if I were to bring in other musicians to do the same thing? I could give them a tour of the museum. We could talk about the art. We could talk about music and have them play something that reflected how the art moved them. So we did just that. We came up with a new video series, which just was debuted last week. It's called Hear What I'm Seeing, where I bring in musicians to, again, look at art and then play how they're reflected, or how it's reflected. So the very first one was one that I did myself, and this is going to be a short preview. If you are interested in it, you can see the long preview. We will put that link to that in the chat box. All right, so here's the preview. Hope you enjoy it.
I'm looking at John Stewart Curry's Sunrise Over Kansas, and immediately I have a strong and personal reaction. This painting captures the landscape of the Kansas prairie, and it reminds me of the view from I-70. There's a duality of emotion in this painting that really resonates with me. The prairie is very calm and peaceful. It's like normal life. Then there's the sky. The sky is full of energy. At the center of everything is the sun. It's so bright, you can't ignore it. The rays shooting from the sun are just electric, filling the sky with this vivid brightness. Instead of a bright blue sky, Curry gives us these big, dark, imposing clouds. They're so powerful, they're able to contain and hold in the rays of light. and this creates a sense of chaos and intense emotion. Musically, I immediately thought of The Longest Summer by Pat Metheny. It has the same duality as the painting. The A section is calm and beautiful, featuring the piano. The B section is improvised and much more aggressive. I changed tones to an electric synth sound to reflect Curry's sun and sky. The music doesn't have a formal, composed ending. Rather, after some improvisation, it simply ends. And somehow, that just seems right.
So again, that program is called Hear What I'm Seeing. And if you're interested in seeing the full version of that, there should be a link down in the chat. You can also go to our webpage, our K-State webpage, and hit Explore. I wrote this down. I don't know where I put my notes. If you go to our website, go to Explore exhibitions, and you'll find a link to Hear What I'm Saying. And if I'm wrong on that, well, I'll probably get docked the overtime that I was going to get for doing this gig. We'll correct that in the chat. So you can find that on our webpage. It's also on YouTube. You can just type in Hear What I'm Saying. So that video, it focused on a piece by John Stewart Curry called Sunrise Over Kansas. And unbeknownst to me, Curry is perhaps the most important painter that Kansas has produced. This past summer, we opened a Curry exhibition here, especially curated by our curator, Elizabeth Seaton. And the exhibition is called Sunrise Over Kansas. And it focuses on the role that sunrises play in these particular paintings that we have collected for you. So if you're interested in that painting you just saw and Curry in general, you want to come check out that exhibit. So at this point in time, I have to let you in on a little secret. So get a little bit closer, okay? Get a little bit closer so you can hear this. We have a time machine here at Beach Museum. We have a time machine. Yeah, I know. It sounds crazy, but it's true. You see, we have Lindsay Smith here. Lindsay is our exhibition design specialist, and he builds amazing things. One day, I was up here in the museum, and I saw him working on something that it looked like a closet. It was black and full of rocks, and there was this humming sound coming from it. I was like, what is that? So I said, Lindsay, what is that? He said, that's above your rank, new guy. Now get out of here. So I hid. That's what you do, because I needed to know what it was. So while I was hiding, I saw Liz Seaton come around the corner, and she went into this black box. I'm like, what is going on here? And then I discovered what was going on. It was a time machine. She went back in time to 1940 so that she could find John Stewart Curry and interview him just for this exhibition. I know you're thinking, new guy, you're crazy. I'll tell you what, I took my phone out and I got a video of it. Here we go. Show it to you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Liz Seaton, and I'm a curator at the Beach Museum of Art at Kansas State University. And we are really lucky today to have with us artist John Stewart Curry. John, we are big fans here at Kansas State University. We have so many questions. We might not be able to get to all of them, but really glad you're here. So I understand we've caught you in Topeka working on your murals for the Kansas State House. Could you talk to us a little bit more about that project you're working on?
Yes, I was fortunate in that I was hired or commissioned to paint murals in the Kansas Capitol. There were no murals in the Kansas Capitol, but they had them in Missouri by Thomas Hart Benton, and the good people of Kansas said, wait a minute, we should have murals in Kansas too. And so I was chosen to paint those murals. That was started in 1937. And I began by coming to Topeka, to the Kansas Historical Society, to do research for the murals.
I'll show people a picture of your parents on the farm where you grew up north of Topeka, right?
Yes, a little town called Donovan. It's not much there anymore, but it was a wonderful place to grow up. I enjoyed the farm mostly. I wasn't very old when I realized I would much rather draw a picture of someone scooping manure than do it myself. So, and I knew that I wasn't cut out for the farm. So when I was 16, I moved to Kansas City and enrolled in the Kansas City Art Institute. But that was not a good experience because those sophisticated young people in Kansas City made fun of me. I was wearing overalls kind of like this, and they said I looked like a hick and I probably acted like a hick. So after a couple of weeks, I quit art school and moved to Chicago.
Tell us a little bit more about your parents here, or what they were like.
They were fine people and a little more educated than a lot of Kansas farm people. My father had gone to the university in Lawrence, and he was a friend of William Allen White, the famous publisher from Emporia. My mother had gone to the agricultural college in Manhattan, and she took a drawing course every semester. So I inherited an interest in an ability to draw.
Now, Don Lambert, let me talk to you about this role you've created. Some people know you well, some people may not. So could you talk to us a little bit about yourself and your relationship with John Stewart Curry?
It was very fortunate that I made this connection with John Stewart Curry because in some ways we're a lot alike. I too grew up on a farm, but realized that the farm was not the place for me to live for the rest of my life. And so I graduated while living on a farm in Kansas, in Concordia or near Concordia. And then I got a call out of the blue from a woman who said very forcefully, she said, I hear that you are interested in Kansas artists. Why don't you get interested in my cousin? Oh, I said, who's your cousin? John Stewart Curry. And at the same time, I was taking art history courses at KU in graduate school. And I was staring at a painting there. It's John Stewart Curry's self-portrait. And as I was staring at that painting, the security guard tapped me on the shoulder and said, hey, you look like him. And I could see that. And so I began doing the research and made my debut as John Stewart Curry in the Kansas Senate.
K-State students and the community have really benefited from your efforts, your contributions. So thank you, Don. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you.
I was kidding. We don't really have a time machine. I was just making all of that up. But what is true is that we have Lindsay Smith, and he is amazing. That black closet with the rocks that I was referring to with the strange humming sound coming out of it, that's actually one of our latest exhibits that just went up a couple of weeks ago. It's called 45 Paleolithic Hand Axes. It's by David Lebrun, and it's a multimedia presentation utilizing photography, digital animation, and music to explore and present some of the earliest tools used by humans. So that's another thing that you want to come check out if you haven't been to the museum recently. It's kind of like time travel. So if you enjoyed that video with Liz and Don Lambert, I want to let you know that was also just a teaser. There's a full-length video that will be on our website shortly, probably within a week or so. So again, make sure you check back to the website to look for the full version of that video. Getting back to John Curry, he's also played a very special role in the development of our collection here at the Beach Museum. So I'd like to bring back at this point in time our director, Linda Duke, to introduce a special guest, and we can talk a little bit more about the origins of our collection here.
Yes, thank you, Nate. That was a great time travel episode. Loved it. Now, I am really excited that we have with us this evening the grandson of John Helm. And for those of you who may not be aware of the full extent of John Helm's role in the history of the arts at K-State, he was a professor of drawing and painting here at the university, and long before there was an art museum even dreamed of by people like Ruth Ann Weefald and Marianna Kistler Beach, John Helm formed the Friends of Art and started building a collection for the university. And a very early painting that group purchased directly from John Stewart Curry was Sundogs, a painting that's on view in our current exhibition. So I hope you'll come by to see that. So at this point, I'd like to welcome John Pollock, the grandson of John Helm. And I see that he is with his mother, Mary Helm Pollock, and they are with us from Pennsylvania, and we're so glad you could join us. Welcome.
Thank you so much. We are delighted to be here. Greetings to everybody. And we're happy and grateful to be here on this wonderful occasion, virtually from as you said, Linda, from Philadelphia. Just to reintroduce ourselves quickly, I'm John Helm Pollock, and sitting next to me is Mary Helm Pollock, John Helm's daughter. My father, Larry Pollock, and my wife, Lynn Farrington, are in a nearby room listening in. So those of you with sharp eyes can see one John Helm artwork behind us in the living room where we're sitting. We really do want to, first of all, and most importantly, congratulate the Beach on a successful 25 years. And thank you to Linda. Thank you to Nate, and welcome to the Beach. We look forward to meeting you soon, we hope, and to the entire staff for your kind invitation. We want to just share very briefly a couple of thoughts that we've put together on this important day. I guess you could say we represent the voice of history, but it seemed appropriate to us, at least for a minute or two, to look back even as we all look forward. Museums, of course, are spaces, and they are collections. They're also ideas. And this museum was, for most of its existence, an idea, a vision, and a growing Kansas State University art collection before it was a space and a destination. Now, given the centrality of the Beach on the K-State campus now, it might seem odd to reflect on how long it took to get there, especially given the close-knit connection of art and architecture at this institution. When my grandfather and Mary's father, John Helm, came to Kansas State in 1924, art was part of the architecture department, and it was headed then by Professor Paul Weigel. The interest in the creation, study, display, and promotion of art was something that the architects and many others on campus agreed upon. And this collective interest was encouraging to John Helm. He was, as I'm sure you all know, an art maker. But perhaps more fundamentally, Professor Helm was a teacher and a community builder. We might call him an architect of a community that would cohere around the idea of art. One seed of what became or would become our museum came in the 1930s when John Helm was director of the Federal Art Project in Kansas. He developed a wide network of artists all over the region. Among these was John Stewart Curry. We celebrate Mr. Curry today, but it's worth recalling that then he was neither so widely known nor so widely liked. Indeed, that was a time of controversy and critique that we might tend to overlook as we look back. Promoting these works and these artists involved taking a stand for art. The idea continued to grow through many other community projects, the Kansas Federation of Art, the Friends of Art, the many campus and regional exhibitions. Along with John Helm, Mary Brownell Helm, Mary's mother and my grandmother, was a constant partner in and advocate for this work. Their teamwork was strong, and we're so grateful that Mary B. Helm's name is on the art study and examination room in the Beach. She was one of the first people to teach me how to look at art, and we know that today's students are learning those skills in that room with all of you. Over the past 2.5 decades, it's been wonderful, really wonderful to watch the Beach Museum realize and broaden that long vision and continue to develop that powerful idea of art. Museums like the Beach are built with many hands and hearts, and we want to acknowledge just a few of our longtime friends and partners. We celebrate the hard work and dedication of so many to this idea. Jessica Richmond, Lauren Render, Bill North, Corey North, Suzanne Hale, Tony Crawford, and special thanks to Tony for his articles in the 25th anniversary book. So many other Beach staff members, past and present, Linda, Liz, Lindsay. I guess you don't have to have a name beginning with L, but it seems to help. We remember colleagues and friends of art who are no longer with us. To you and to newer colleagues and friends, we congratulate you and we wish you success as you continue to develop the powerful idea of art at Kansas State. Now, Mary and Larry were recollecting 25 years ago when they were standing outside in the blazing Kansas sun, yes, even in October, listening to President Weefald as he opened the Beach Museum. We're more distant today, and it's not so hot, at least where we are, but our feelings are just as strong and just as warm. We congratulate all of you, and we look forward to future projects and accomplishments. Thank you, and congratulations.
Wow. That was so moving and wonderful, John and Mary. Thank you so much for joining us to celebrate your grandfather and your father. So important to everything that's happened here. And now it's my honor to let you know that the museum received a very special gift in honor of the 25th anniversary from the Chells family, Tony, Carol, and Chloe. It's a beautiful, beautiful landscape painting by John Helm. And I think if we've got everything lined up, I think we're going to ask Nate to take a look at this painting. I know he's been actually holding back from looking at it so that he could share his own special moment of encounter with you. Nate, what are you thinking?
Yeah, so I've just been looking at this painting right here, title unknown. So it's behind me, and it's really fascinating. But after listening to John speak, I'm seeing something new. He described Helm as a builder and an architect of sorts, and it's changing what I see. As I look at this painting, it's all the shapes and colors that I see. Yeah, there's some trees and some houses, but they don't seem to really matter that much. What I'm really drawn to is this landscape. But the landscape, although it looks like it's perhaps some mountains and a sky, it's as if you peeled off the ground and the ground covers, and you're seeing like again, I'm thinking of an architect. This is like the scaffolding underneath the mountains. If you were to rip off, again, the dirt, the grass, all that kind of stuff, this is like the underpinnings. This is what's holding the mountains up. This is what the mountains are made of. And I find that kind of fascinating. It's very different. I'm not an artist, so I don't know. Maybe this has like a cubism type of effect. That's what pops into my mind. But I see all of these shapes and figures. They're not triangles, but I see them as triangles. I see a lot of that shape. And again, rather than seeing like giant hills, I see these little individual segments. And then as I look closer to those segments, there's a lot of detail inside of each little one. So you might see, let's see, get one that you can see. So this little one right here, you see like this kind of red area, but if you look close, there's all these little lines and details within it. And every single shape is that same way. And so that fascinates me. That's what I'm drawn to. The other thing that I notice is everything moves upwards. It's all like shooting up. So I am going to make something up right now on my saxophone. Boy, this is going to be exciting. That conveys some of those ideas. And my musical thoughts right now is just like I didn't really see a picture, like it's not really about the trees and the houses, it's about an effect. I don't think I'm going to play a melody. I'm going to play a bunch of fragmented little ideas that represent all of these little shapes here. And I'm not going to play in a key either, because these colors are so different. Some are bright, some are dark. So I'm not going to play in a major key or a minor key. I'm just going to mix all of that up. And to represent this ascension, I'm going to try to do a lot of things that tend to rise up. So let's see what it sounds like. This is Hear What I'm Seeing. All right, there you have it. All right, thank you. So that was just off of the top of my head, something that sounds like what that looks like. You may or may not have liked it, but it doesn't matter because now it's gone.
Excuse me, Nate, can you move a little closer to the mic?
I'm sorry, I turned the mic down so that my saxophone would not be too
Yeah,
loud.
that's what I figured.
Hopefully you can hear me now.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
Okay, so thank you for that wonderful musical interlude. I really enjoyed it. And now we have some more really interesting speakers and comments from two leaders from the museum's Friends Board. And I am not sure if they're going to appear together or in sequence, so I'm going to mention both names first. Judy Regier is the president this year of the Friends of the Beach Museum of Art, and she's going to talk a little bit about the important work of that organization. And she's going to be followed by Tony Chells, who is the person who heroically headed up the book project this year, a commemorative book honoring the people for whom spaces in the museum have been named. So Tony headed up that effort and had many really dedicated Friends Board volunteers working with him on that project, and he's going to talk a bit about that. Whoops, Martha's just telling me that I misspoke and said Tony Chells instead of Tony Crawford. I'm so sorry. Yes, Tony Crawford is our heroic leader of the book project. And here's Judy. Thank you, Judy.
Hi, the Friends of the Beach Museum of Art have been in existence almost as long as the museum itself. The building, of course, the museum was dedicated 25 years ago in 1996. The Friends had their first president in 1997. The first president was Sharon Snyder, and she served 3 terms. I'm going to mention some of the other presidents who have carried this organization through all these years in tandem with the development of the Beach Museum of Art. I'll just mention some of the more recent ones, and I'm sure many of the names will be familiar to you. Dolores Berlin, Jay Nelson, Carol Chells, Joe Lyle, Irene Ward, Janet Cooper, Sharon Criss, Sarah Hancock, Beth Kessinger, Elizabeth Jancourt, Michael Donnelly, Susan Noblett, and Tony Crawford, not Tony Chells. Tony Crawford is the immediate past president. I think we owe our thanks to Ruth Ann Weefald and Marianna Kistler Beach for establishing this museum. But the idea that the Friends have existed all these 25 years, I think shows how important this event was to this community and to the people of the community. The Friends over these 25 years have donated a total of almost $2 million to the Beach Museum. The actual number is $1,877,000 some dollars. So I think that also attests to the importance of the Beach Museum in this community, that people are willing to support it for 25 years and to give that much money. It's really a jewel in our community, not just for K-State faculty, students, but also for the community and the grade school children who take part in the museum's programs, and everybody. The purpose of the Friends of the Museum, of the Beach Museum of Art, is to support the museum and to support the programs of the museum and to let everybody know about them. So that's what we try to do. This past year has been sort of difficult with the pandemic, but I am really impressed with the resilience of Linda Duke's staff in meeting the pandemic. In fact, I think the staff has carried the museum forward into the next 25 years by all the work that they have done to put things online. There are at least 4 exhibitions online right now that anybody, anywhere in the world can look at. And I think that's a huge step forward that will continue even long after the pandemic ends, assuming it ends soon. The staff worked through a difficult time with the museum being closed. It didn't open till this August. And even while it was closed, you could drive by the beach and look at the beautiful Chihuly and other pieces of art in the windows, which were just beautiful last winter. And I am really impressed that the museum has moved forward into the next 25 years, I believe, with their online presence, the talent that's available there, not only in the exhibitions online, but also with the many programs that are now on Zoom. So the Friends have adapted, and we're trying to help the museum publicize these We're trying to help organize parties, watch parties for these online events. And the Friends of the Museum has also started, many of us being as old as we are, not all of us, doing social media posts to publicize what's going on at the museum, and also to tell people that they can join the Friends online and be a part of this. So I think we're poised to go from the past 25 years into the next 25 years in fine shape. There are, of course, some financial challenges, but I think we'll deal with those. Another very important thing that we've done, the Friends have done lately, is the online book. It's an online book celebrating the 25 years of the Beach Museum. And I will turn it over to Tony Crawford now to tell us about this book.
It is my pleasure to announce that the board of the Friends of the Beach Museum of Art has published an electronic book through New Prairie Press to celebrate the museum's 25th anniversary. And the title of the book is Marianna Kistler Beach Museum of Art at 25, People and Spaces. As I believe Marlene said earlier, over a year and a half ago, the Friends board decided that it was appropriate to celebrate the 25th anniversary of the museum by publishing a book to honor the people that the spaces in the museum are named after. And these people, through their financial support and or other work they did on behalf of the new museum, were greatly responsible for making the museum and the new addition to the facility a reality. So at that time, the Friends created a committee to start planning the publication, and it included myself as chair, Marlene Verbrugge, Marla Day, Martha Scott, Michael Donnelly, Carol Chels, Linda Knupp, and Mickey Chance Ray. And in order to expedite the publication, a smaller working group of Marlene, Martha, myself, and Marla, I think I got all, did I get all the M's in there? Anyway, we worked consistently over the last few months via Zoom and then in person to complete the book in time for this celebration. So to summarize, the book consists of articles on the 23 named spaces in the museum. They were written by board members and advisors of the museum's Friends organization. In addition to an introduction by Linda Duke, there's a wonderful article about Ruth Ann Weefald, former First Lady of K-State, about how the museum was established. She worked tirelessly with the assistance of others, such as Jessica Richmond, the curator of the university's art collection, to bring an art museum to K-State. And there's also an article on Marianna Kistler Beach by Marla Day, a board member who you just heard, that highlights Marianna's life and marriage to Ross, which led to the museum being named in her honor. The book includes photographs of the people the named spaces honor, as well as photographs of a lot of the spaces in the building, such as the galleries. The publication is an electronic publication by New Prairie Press that is part of the Center for the Advancement of Digital Scholarship in the K-State Library. It can be accessed, read, and downloaded free of charge through the New Prairie Press website by people from around the country and around the world. And I'm not sure if, I think Martha was going to try and put the link in the chat on our Zoom. It might be there, but you can go to the internet and search New Prairie Press and find the books that way, or go to the K-State Library's homepage and find New Prairie Press, and you can find the book, the title that I just mentioned. I want to thank members of the Friends Board who came forward, who volunteered to write articles on the named spaces, and the people honored by the spaces or family members. I want to thank them for providing biographical information and photos of those people. And they also cooperated by providing biographical information. I want to thank Linda Duke for her introduction and her support. Ruth Ann Wefald for her contribution, and Mary Helm Pollock, who wrote a wonderful piece about her mother, Mary Brownell Helm, as you heard earlier, was the wife of John Helm. And the art examination room in the museum is named after Mary Brownell Helm. I want to acknowledge Lori Getch, Dean Emeritus of the K-State Libraries, who wrote an excellent review of the book, and that review, her review, appears with the book on the New Prairie Press homepage. I also want to thank Tara Coleman, Programming Services Coordinator in Hale Library, who worked with Emily Finch to enable the page turning device. And Emily Finch was of New Prairie Press, assisted and guided our working committee through the publication process. I know there are other people that I probably should thank and recognize, but those are acknowledged in Linda Duke's introduction in the book. So we believe that we believe you will find the book to be attractive, informative, and enjoyable, and a valuable contribution to the museum's 25th anniversary celebration, as well as add to an important legacy of the Beach Museum and its benefactors.
Thanks so much, Tony and Marlene and Marla and all the people who worked so hard to make that book possible. It will live on, and we're really thrilled about that. So the Friends Board is a really important structure that supports the museum's work. And another organizational structure is the Advisory Council. It's a wonderful body of experts who come together to monitor the museum's activities, offer us advice, provide transparency to some of our decision-making. And it has been in the past very ably headed up by, during my time, by Jackie Hartman, now Jackie Hartman Bork, and currently headed up by Margaret Chen, a financial wizard who's based in Boston. Margaret wasn't able to be with us tonight, but fortunately, David Weaver and Mindy Weaver, both members of the council, have agreed to share some thoughts about that group. David and Mindy?
Well, thank you, Linda. I wanted to say, first of all, I'm sorry you're not getting Margaret, because she would do a much better job, but we'll try to do what we can. I'd like to mention a little bit about the composition of the Advisory Council. It is representative of the numerous constituencies that utilize the museum. We've got campus representatives from the administration, the deans, the faculty. We have public representatives around the community. We've got a representative from the USD 383, which utilizes many of the programs the beach provides. So we've got a broad representation that does what Linda just said, provides feedback to staff, hopefully beneficial in how they structure these programs. I should say, Judy stole some of my thunder. That's the disadvantage of being later in the program. But I should say I was really proud of the way the staff reacted during the pandemic. If there's anything that came good out of this pandemic, it was that because the museum was closed and staff was working remotely, they had to develop virtual methods to deliver programming. And what we have now is not temporary. It is the new way of delivering programming to supplement in-person, programming in the museum itself. It has attracted. We have a very small staff that has high expertise and motivation, and they've attracted national organizations that have noticed what's going on and wanted to partner with the museum, which will just enhance the standing in the museum. So I'm very proud of what's happened. That now to a little bit of not so good news. Being chair of the finance committee, this happens. The museum has been taking over operational costs over the years. This one, then that one, then the next one is, as the university says, we're not going to do this, you have to take it. There is what we call a reserve. It's just a checking account, you might say, at the K-State Foundation that's discretionary, that has been filling in as the income does not meet the programmatic expenditures and operational expenditures of the museum. This can't go on forever, obviously. But this year, the museum was notified that into the future, major repairs and replacements to the building itself will be the museum's burden. We just this week received input from the university facility staff regarding useful life of the various museum building components and the expected cost of repairing or replacing them over the years. And we're just beginning to study that. First glance, it's a big number. And we're going to have to find a way to fund the museum. It's clear the university and the state is not going to do this. So building an endowment for operational purposes is very important. We have some dedicated programmatic endowments. We need something to keep the doors open to the museum. So this is going to be a challenge. We're studying it. I think the development committee of the advisory council will be also studying this. That's sorry, kind of a downer, but that's what it is. And I think we need to stress that endowments will be very important to the life of this museum in the future. But I'm optimistic. I always am optimistic. We've met challenges in the past. This just happens to be a bigger one, but we'll meet a bigger challenge. Linda, I think that's, I hate to leave you on that note, but I think that's all I needed to say. We're just very proud to be on the advisory council and hopefully can provide some assistance in decision making.
Well, thank you, David. We appreciate you filling in for Margaret and sharing all that information with us. And sometimes those things are hard to hear, but it's the truth, it's reality. And those are things that we have to work on overcoming. We want to thank all of the members of the Friends of Beach Museum and the Advisory Council, both past and current. And we also want to thank all of you who have helped out in any way, have been involved in supporting the Beach Museum. It takes so much effort to build and maintain not only the facility, but the vision of the museum and the mission. So we want you to know that all of your assistance is greatly appreciated and valued. Along those lines, we want to kind of look at our history just a little bit. So we've prepared a slideshow for you, just some pictures and a few interviews just to give you, again, a stroll down memory lane to see where it was that we came from. We will open up with a short clip of Marianna Kistler Beach herself sharing us the story of how she was informed that her husband was going to give the seed money to start Beach Museum. Go ahead and roll the clip.
Honey, you must be able to think of somebody, some foundation that would just love to do this, that is able to do this. And he was shaving in the bathroom and he walked out to the bedroom and he said, I tell you what, he had that all over his face. He said, I'll give the lead gift. and it'll be your wedding anniversary gift. And I said, oh, how great. And so I was thrilled to pieces.
That was a lovely walk down memory lane. I really enjoyed that. I think next on our agenda is to talk about two other current exhibitions recently opened. We're going to end the evening with curator Eileen Wang sharing a bit about the Gordon Parks exhibition, which we've been working on for a very long time and which we're so excited to be presenting during the anniversary year. But as we worked on that concept, we also thought a lot as a staff about how to bring Gordon Parks into the present moment without a time machine. And we made that connection because we discovered we had a treasure right here in our own community in the person of an artist named Doug Barrett. He operates his own 400 Creative North business, which is a photography, video, photojournalist enterprise. And we realized that Doug's amazing photographs were quite often picking up on subjects that were very present in the work of Gordon Parks. And so we have an exhibition of Doug's work. Doug Barrett, Find Your Voice is the title. It's in the Heil Gallery, right adjacent to the Parks exhibition. And I think we're going to show you just 3 photos from that show. Luke, could you put those up, please? We decided to profile 3 projects of Doug Barrett. All of these photographs are in the collection of the museum. The first one deals with the protests and demonstrations around the country related to the killing of George Floyd and the Black Lives Matter movement. And I'm showing you here one that made quite a big splash. It was in national media and even picked up by European press, photographs that Doug took of a demonstration in Junction City. The second project that we are profiling in this exhibition are excerpts from Doug's long-term project to document the lives of homeless veterans in all 50 states. So Doug is interviewing homeless veterans. He is a veteran himself, interviewing the veterans and making a portrait of each of them. So this is one photograph from that series. And then lastly, a long-term project to document the history and the people of Yuma Street, right here in Manhattan. Yuma Street is the heart of the historic Black community in Manhattan. And so there are some really amazing photographs from that series. The one I'm sharing here is titled by Doug, A Beautiful Marriage. So now I think we're going to walk into the gallery next door with Eileen Wang. She and Sarah Price have curated a wonderful exhibition of works in the collection by Gordon Parks. Eileen.
Hi, everyone. So nice to see you all. So I am giving you a preview of a virtual exhibition version of the Gordon Parks exhibition, but of course it is already available to be visited in person. So please come to the museum if you can and see the show in person. But we are also creating a virtual version of that. And what I'll show you is a sneak preview into a 3D virtual tour that we are including in that virtual exhibition. So I'm going to share screen now.
And Eileen, while you're doing that, can I just remind everyone that we're so grateful to the Alms Group here in town for sharing their Matterport technology with us. So when, as Eileen mentioned, when this virtual exhibition is completed and put online, you will be able to walk through it freely. Also the Doug Barrett and the Curry exhibitions. The Curry is actually already up, so please try it out.
Okay, so here you see the title wall Gordon Parks and Doug Barrett exhibitions. And here you can walk into the gallery space. And the exhibition of Gordon Parks, Homeward to the Prairie I Come, is primarily covering a gift that Gordon Parks gave to K-State in 1973, a gift of 128 photographs that he chose and also printed with his specifications. So he decided what prints would be printed in what size and how they would be cropped. So this is the first group of photographs that he decided to give to a public institution, and he chose Kansas State University. And this is at the end of his long career in Life magazine. And so it's really a way for him to look back and talk to his home state. This group of photographs in a way is like a self-portrait of how he wants to be thought about and remembered as an artist, as a Kansan. And so this group, once we started doing research, showed that he decided to highlight certain themes. And he did that by printing large certain images. There are 5 of them that are the biggest. And you'll see that here in the central section in the gallery, there's no determined way for which you can visit. You pick what section hits your fancy and go. So we kept it intentionally open-ended. I will go forward and show you some of that center section. So here you see 2 of the 5 biggest photographs, and they are both from Gordon Parks's series, a photo essay he did for Life magazine called Freedom's Fearful Foe, Poverty. And so with 2 of them included in the 5 biggest, we know that that's an important theme for him. And as you go forward, you'll see more of those images. And by the way, I'll just turn this around and you see here a case with the camera and lens of Gordon Parks loaned to us by the Gordon Parks Museum. So we're very honored to have that. When you turn around on this wall, this wall here, this shows a selection of the biggest group in the gift, which are photographs covering African-American experiences. They tell stories of African-Americans from different series that he did. And another thing that I'll point out is you'll see there's a lot of text in the exhibition, and it's because we want to highlight how important text is for Gordon Parks. It's part of his creative suite, so to speak. So it's not just images that he created, he also created text with them in poetry and essays. So we wanted to highlight that, and that was an insight that my co-curator, Sarah Price, pointed out and wanted to emphasize in this exhibition. Very, very insightful. I'll turn this around a bit. Oops, did I just go out? Sorry, hard to navigate. On that far wall, here is the second largest group, which are photographs from Europe. So Gordon Parks included many photographs that he took in Europe at different times, included in this group. So that was an important point he wanted to make, that he was a Kansan who went on to go around the world and tell stories from around the world. This is a special section, photographs that he included of Kansas, including on the left here, a group of photographs from his series, Fort Scott Revisited, which he did in 1950. And it's one of the earliest times that he came back to Kansas after leaving. And as you'll see, there's more text here, and that's a poem he wrote called Kansas Land. And lastly, I will bring you to the back of the gallery. And here in the far wall, you see a gray section painted gray, a section painted gray. And these are the photographs. Let me see if I can get closer. These are photographs from Gordon Parks's time in Manhattan. And I think I have to point to the floor and step back a bit. Yikes, sorry. This is a group of photographs that he did during 2 artist residencies in 1980s, 84 and 85. The one in 84 was sponsored by the Manhattan Mercury, and it commissioned Gordon Parks to do poetry and photography of Kansas for a special insert that they produced to celebrate the Manhattan Mercury's centennial. So I can turn us around and I can show you. There is the case with a special insert, and you can get closer to it. And you'll see the inside pages with photographs of Manhattan that he took. And that's it. So check this out. It will be coming soon. Nate?
Thank you, Eileen. We now have a short video to run for you based on the poem, Homeward to the Prairie I Come.
Homeward to the prairie I come, to swim the memories of childhood and draw strength from the huge silence, knowing that all I thought was dead here is very much alive. And there's a lasting warmth here, even when the wind blows hard and cold.
So as we are wrapping it up here, as we're getting ready to close, I would like to share a couple closing thoughts with you, if you don't mind. I had never heard of Gordon Parks. As a person of color, I could not believe that I had missed out on his legacy. Never heard of him. But now, here in the museum, I learn a little bit about my history. And now I see Parks and his work everywhere that I go. And it inspires me to believe that I also have a story and that I can shine light and that I can actually do good. I'd never heard of John Curry. Moving here from Las Vegas 20 years ago, my relationship to Kansas was basically, this is just where I live now. Looking at his paintings, it brought me a deeper connection to Kansas. Learning about his story and the life that he led, it inspired me to be honest and engage in the entire picture of the world, not just the small things that I happen to like, but the whole picture. Looking at his paintings, I see energy and passion, and I recognize that real passion comes from that most sincere place, and that becomes my goal as well. These aren't lessons that you learn in a classroom. They're not taught. These kind of lessons, they're discovered, they're self-realized. Now, speaking as a teacher who's taught through the COVID scenario and all those challenges, education is changing, and we need to find multiple ways of engaging and growing students. Speaking as just a human being, there's so much to discover about who we are and about who we could be. Let's relish and enjoy and benefit from what it is that we have right now. And I'm talking about this museum while we have it. And let's do all that we can to build, to share, and to sustain it for everyone, including those who aren't here yet. For there will come a time, and there was a time, it was about 80 and maybe about 7, what? Okay. So that was Linda Duke. And she just said, Nate, you got to wrap it up. Let's put a lid on this thing. You got to hurry up. And then she said, when I'm done, please bring her a cup of coffee down in the office. So that's after I lock up the museum. It's tough being the new guy, I tell you. They make you do everything around here. So I just need to tell you very quickly, as we were saying goodbye, if we could get all of you to switch over into your gallery view, we want to get a chance to see everybody that is here. So up in the top right corner, there's a little button that says view. If you would click on that and hit gallery. And I just want to say, again, this is Nate McClendon. On behalf of all of us here at Beach Museum, we want to thank you so much for being here tonight to share the 25th anniversary of Beach Museum with us. We hope that you've enjoyed the evening. We hope that you'll continue to support us, and we hope that you will continue to come here and visit and bring a friend. And I tell you what, for those of you that bring, let's say tomorrow, if you bring 10 friends, Linda Duke will play my saxophone for you. All right, we'll set her up to do that. All right, let's give a good Kansas goodbye wave to everybody. It's been great seeing you. Thank you for being here tonight. Y'all have a great evening. Thank you very much.